I had the opportunity to review the Oppo Reno Standard Edition that is part of a brand new Reno lineup that also consists of the Reno 10x zoom. Like the name suggests, the Reno Standard Edition is like the base model and the Reno 10x zoom the higher end model with some improvements like the 10x optical zoom. Although it's named the Reno Standard Edition, it's equipped with a mid-range Snapdragon 710 and Adreno 616, and the design does not at all look like a mid-range device. For Singapore viewers, both models are now available at Singtel, M1 and StarHub Store and official distributors across Singapore. As this is a review set, there are signs of wear on the case and also on the applied screen protector. The plastic screen protector will work fine, but it will have lots of scratches, so it's best to get a glass protector instead. The glass display is made of Corning Gorilla Glass 6, which is pretty durable with my usage, and there isn't any scratch at all. One of the features that attracts me the most is the full screen display. No notch, no holes, no teardrop, just a glorious 6.4-inch display. The bezels are minimal, even the bottom chin is just slightly bigger. The 6.4-inch display might be big for some to use. That's where one-handed mode comes to good use. To complement the full display, it uses a motorized pop-up mechanism for the front camera. This pop-up module also houses the earpiece, and the sound travels through an opening just in front. You may want to clean occasionally as dust might get trapped. The shimmering glass back looks nice, and it has a matte finish which is pretty smooth and slippery. I recommend using the case, but it's a pity for the design to be hidden inside a case. In the middle is the camera module that is totally flushed, along with a strip of shiny glass towards the bottom. There is also a small bump, which I find myself using my index finger to locate, so I will not smudge the camera. Another reason is to raise the phone slightly to protect the camera from scratches. As for the speakers, it's located at the bottom, which are side-facing. It's pretty loud but doesn't sound too good. It's a pity there isn't any stereo speakers, since initially I thought the top earpiece could have been one. It will be easily muffled in landscape orientation, but you still have the option for earphones using Bluetooth or the headphone jack. The Oppo Reno Standard Edition has a 6.4-inch display with a resolution of 1080 by 2340 and 401 ppi. I would have preferred Quad HD resolution for such a bigger screen, but for the most part, it is sufficient for day-to-day use. Colours on the AMOLED panel look vibrant, with a pretty nice contrast. Viewing angles are pretty good as well. You can adjust the color temperature with a slider control, and also use Night Shield that reduces blue light for a better sleep. Apps are usually compatible with the full screen display, but if it doesn't take advantage of it, it can prompt to use full screen mode. One setting I highly recommend to activate is the swipe up gestures. This removes the virtual keys in favor of gesture control, and it looks great. You can also choose your preferred gesture layout as well. The in-display fingerprint sensor works pretty well, and Oppo has improved the algorithm for faster unlocking. Sometimes, it takes a fraction more time to unlock, but for the most part, it is almost instantaneous and accurate. But in cases where you are wearing gloves, you can also use face recognition as well. Whenever you opt to use it, the pivoting camera will activate. It's also pretty quick, but I noticed the mechanism does have an audible sound. It definitely can be heard in a silent environment, especially the person next to you. You can sort of mask the sound with actual sound effects. As for ports, there is a microphone at the top, dual SIM tray on the left, above the volume rocker, and power button on the right. The headphone jack second microphone, Type-C port, and speaker grills are at the bottom. The Oppo Reno Standard comes in a single variant, 256GB storage and 8GB of RAM. There isn't any expandable storage, but it supports USB OTG using a Type-C thumb drive. Powering the Reno Standard is the Snapdragon 710 and Adreno 616. The 710 is a mid-range chipset that is more power efficient, much better than the Snapdragon 600 series, and has better performance. Benchmark scores are pretty good, but it's just for reference only. There aren't any major issues with day-to-day performance, except for the very rare stuttering. Applications generally load fast, and 8GB of RAM is more than enough to handle any multitasking. Wi-Fi and cellular speeds are pretty good, and it has Bluetooth 5.0 and NFC as well. Gaming was pretty good, without any noticeable lags or slowdowns. The gameplay experience on PUBG, Asphalt 9 and Fortnite was smooth and excellent. I didn't notice any overheating as well. Game Space is where you manage games, and there is a game assistant where you can access quick toggles. You can also open compatible apps using floating window. All in all, the Reno Standard is more than capable for daily usage and then some. It's running ColorOS 6 on top of Android 9. It's quite heavily skinned, but there are quite a few features that improve the experience. Swiping left on the home screen shows the Smart Assistant where you can add cards or quick functions for easy access. You can also tap and hold on the home page to add widgets, change wallpapers, and effects. The home screen layout can be changed to drawer mode instead of all apps on the screen. And there are two options for the grid as well. Unread notifications will have a dot on the top right, and newly installed apps will have a dot on the left side of the name. You can tap and hold to view shortcuts, but it would be nice to actually view the alerts. Swiping down shows the alert panel, and you can rearrange the shortcuts. Normally, you can either use your voice or press the home button to enable Google Now, but now without virtual keys, the other way is to press and hold the power button to trigger it. This means you will need to go through Google Now before going into the power menu. In the Convenience Aid setting, there is an assistive bar for easy access to navigations at the reach of a finger. Smart Sidebar is a quick access pane at the edge to easily access tools and applications. There are also off-screen gestures that work when the screen is off. Phone Manager has quick access to some features like virus scanning and cleaning up storage. The security menu has all the options like permissions, floating windows management, payments protection, etc. You can set a passcode for encryption and also access your private data. Kids Space is a separate space, and you can add any apps that can only be accessible in this space. At the bottom are details of all other security measures that Oppo has implemented. Split screen is pretty useful for such a big screen, and you can trigger at the recent apps page or by swiping 3 fingers upwards. Clone apps is where you can have two separate instances in the same phone, but it only supports compatible apps. Other useful settings are auto power on and off, do not disturb, notification settings, and app management. With a 3740 mAh battery, it's more than enough to last a full day with moderate use. Usually, I unplug the phone around 7:30 in the morning, and by around 9 PM, it will have around 25 to 55% battery left, depending on my usage. Good news is that the 20-watt VOOC wall adapter will charge your Oppo Reno from 0% to 50% in 30 minutes and 0% to 100% in 1 hour 27 minutes. The battery menu is where you can change battery related settings either for high performance or more power saving. The Oppo Reno Standard has a 48 megapixel main camera and a 5 megapixel depth sensor good for portrait shots. Images are pretty nice and the subject blends pretty well with the blur surrounding. The main camera modes are at the front, and the rest of the modes like Pano, Time-Lapse and Slow-Mo is in the 3-line menu. There is the Beauty AI mode for both front and back camera for smoother complexion and nice facial features. The front camera allows more customizations of the face, but I still prefer natural photos. The top bar consists of the HDR toggle, filters, and Dazzle Color. Dazzle Color saturates the colors in dull-looking photos. Sometimes, the colors are enhanced till it looks kind of unnatural. Another feature is AI scene recognition. It can detect the scene quite accurately and able to handle a wide range of scenarios. Inbuilt in the menu is Google Lens. Simply point the camera at something like an object or landmark. It will identify in real time right from the camera. Both auto and manual focus are pretty fast in daylight, but just a fraction slower in low light conditions. Day shots are excellent with good lighting. Photos are sharp and colors accurate. As for low light, the night mode will greatly enhance the lighting of the photo, except in extreme low light conditions. As for expert mode, you can adjust the exposure, white balance, autofocus, and exposure compensation. There isn't any OIS on the Oppo Reno Standard, so footage might be a little shaky, and you can record up to 4K resolution. The front camera has a 16-megapixel sensor with soft light, which produces nice selfies with sufficient lighting. As far as user experience goes, I feel that ColorOS can be fine-tuned a little more, and the settings page could do some reorganizing. Like the security status group could actually be located in the security menu. Other than that, performance is pretty good for a mid-range processor. Although it's missing stereo speakers, expandable storage, and OIS, it's compensated by the cool factor of the pop-up camera, full display with integrated fingerprint sensor, and also excellent battery life. If you don't mind the shortcomings of the Oppo Reno Standard, I feel it's a good all-round package without the high flagship price. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to see more of such content. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.